The Nintendo 64 is a console that many people cherish to this day. Ever since it released in 1996, so many people have been in love with this system, myself included. One of my all-time favorite consoles, so many great games on the system. Super Mario 64, Wave Race 64, Star Fox, GoldenEye, Blast Corps, Pilot Wings, Legend of Zelda. The list goes on and on. There's just so many great memories with this system. And for many people who still continue to play the Nintendo 64, there is one issue that a lot of us had to face, and that is the original controllers. For some people, it's a little uncomfortable. For others, it's fine. Myself included, I like the original controller. But there is one flaw, and that is the analog stick. Over time, it grinds away at itself, and that little cup underneath, and it winds up going limp, and then you got to replace it. You replace it with a GameCube-style stick or any other kind of replacement, and now you kind of have lost the feel of the original analog. It's not as responsive, and there are issues with that. So there's been third-party controllers in the past, and a lot of them people have enjoyed, but there's one in particular that was only released in Japan that a lot of people look at as probably the best controller for the Nintendo 64, and that's the Hori Minipad 64. With it being only released in Japan, never released anywhere else, it fetches quite a bit of a premium, around $100 for a used controller. For me, that's a no-go. But now we have a new option, an option that is very similar to the Hori Pad, maybe even with some improvements. So today we're taking a look at the Retrobit Tribute 64 controllers, original port and USB. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay guys, so here we go, the complete set of Tribute 64 wired controllers from Retrobit. Now we've got 3 different colors, 2 variations. We have a USB version and an original port. They call this one Forest Green, Ocean Blue, and then Red. Come on now, I'm calling this bad boy Fire Red. Why do these ones get cool names and this one's red? Well, that's according to their press release. I guess you could call them whatever the heck you want. So, I know that Sega hype has been like crazy with Retrobit. They did an amazing job with those controllers, and they still have Sega stuff coming out. But I had my heart set on these because I really love the Nintendo 64. And prior to them announcing this controller and teasing everybody, I was in the market for a Hori Minipad. And I saw the outrageous prices, and I was just like, no, not gonna happen. And these obviously draw inspiration from that design. There's gonna be a little bit of differences, but we're going to take a look at that in a second. Now, these will be available the last week of May, like the 24th through the 30th. The original port versions are going to be going for $25, USB for $30. Link will be in the description so you can find places that sell these. Definitely excited. So let's go ahead and just start taking a look at these, right? They also have wireless versions that will be coming out in the, the months to come. 2.4 gigahertz and Bluetooth. A lot of people like wired, so that's what we're looking at now. Retrobit makes a lot of different options. That's what they are about. So let's just go ahead and start it up. So I did notice these have like a plastic wrap on it. I've already opened a few of these to take a look, but like this clear plastic, it has like a shrink wrap on it pretty much, which is pretty nice. Keeps the actual protective case nice and shiny and keeping it going, so that's a good thing. But let's just go ahead and get in there and take a look. Before we do, you've been staring at the box. Nice little foiling, Tribute 64. This is the USB version, so it tells you it's for PC, Mac, Steam, and Nintendo Switch. Can also be used, like I said, on your RetroPie Odroid XU4. So there we go. Nice that it comes in that little protective case, because if this was sitting in the store and all these little kids with their little booger fingers were touching this thing, I wouldn't want it. So I like the packaging, really nice. Bunch of information on the back, but I just like using controllers, man. I don't like reading, so there we go. Pretty much just tells you the basic stuff. 10-foot cord, has an awesome analog stick. So the big thing with this is the analog stick is manufactured in Japan. It's from a Japanese company, Pretty sure it's mimicking, or it's at least the same or similar to the Hori mini pad, because this thing is definitely amazing. The analog stick is going to be the biggest thing for a lot of people. When you get this in your hands and you get to test this out, you're going to be blown away. If you own a Hori mini pad, guaranteed you're going to be like, dude, this is great. So one of the big differences between this and the Hori pad, obviously this is the USB one. We'll open a normal port one in a moment. We'll open one of each color. But one of the main differences is that this is going to be slightly bigger than the Hori mini pad. If you look at a picture of the Hori mini pad next to this, or if you have a Hori mini pad, you'll notice immediately it is a little wider. It is a little bigger. They changed a few things here. For example, the Z buttons on the Hori mini pad, they're like the same as the L and R. I think that's an improvement with the shape and them kind of curving up a little bit, because then you can't get confused with your fingers. The buttons don't all feel the same. So those Z triggers, they feel like little triggers, and then your L and R's are right there. So really good stuff. 10-foot cable on the USB and the original port. Not sure if I mentioned that already. And then the big thing, the analog stick. My God, this thing feels amazing. The buttons all feel good. I know a lot of people are like, what's up with the placement of the D-pad? Well, that's how the Hori mini pad was. And I'm telling you, from using these controllers, shifting over to hit that D-pad is fine. You know, not a lot of games are going to use the D-pad. The big thing with the Nintendo 64 was almost everything for it was a 3D game. Not everything, but, you know, a vast majority of games were. And they exclusively used the analog stick. So the D-pad wasn't used as often. But in games where like this would control like your view or something, or switching weapons, it is very easy to shift over. You have to compare to the original Nintendo 64 controller and the way that was styled. You weren't really using the D-pad too often, so the placement feels fine, the buttons feel fine, everything feels great. But yes, this analog stick is amazing. So on their little press release, I'm going to go ahead and read what they stated about that. They said, one key component of the controller is the high quality analog stick, which is uniquely made in Japan, utilizing the highest grade in their degree system. A primary point for any analog stick on a controller is the dead zone range. The dead zone essentially assists gamers in the accuracy and sensitivity. The higher the dead zone in an analog stick, the more in sync the gameplay will be with the gamer's movement. With a dead zone of 120, the Tribute 64 also allows for a wider throw range compared to the original Nintendo 64 controller, which has a dead zone of 80, making the analog stick surprisingly sensitive, accurate, and rhythmically fluent. So definitely some good things. I've play tested these in the past. I've used, you know, the pre-production model of this and tested it out, and I was amazed. You know, this is obviously the, you know, retail version, and from the pre-production to this, they feel very similar. This does seem, you know, a lot more solid. Everything is good. But yeah, I was surprised with that analog stick. I was like, this is amazing. So let's go ahead and set that one aside. This is the USB one. You'll see the expansion port slot. There's nothing in there. It's just kind of there. I mean, it doesn't do anything, but it's still neat that it's there. I'll talk about grip and whatnot in a second once we get a original port one out. Oh yeah, the USB one does come with a instruction manual. It just explains how to swap between D input and X input. You know, you would hold the C up and C right button for 5 seconds and it would switch between them. Compatible with PC, Mac, Steam, PS3, and Nintendo Switch. So there you go. And it does have the pairing of the buttons, what they do for each system. D input, X input, PS3, Mac, and Switch. So you can refer to that. Pretty cool stuff. Let's go ahead and get into an original port, why don't we? So we opened a green one. This is an original port blue. Boom. Now, I really love blue. Blue's my favorite color. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that, but there we go, the blue one. And the cool thing is, not like a gray or a black plug, matches the color of the plastic. So really cool. Really love it. The little expansion port slot, not expansion port, but you know what I'm saying. The memory pack slot You use your rumble pack, your memory pack. The unfortunate thing is you can't use a transfer pack. It's just kind of a thing where that was how Nintendo designed their controllers. I haven't seen a third-party company get the expansion port slot to work with transfer packs. So if you're big into Pokemon Stadium, you want to use that transfer pack for whatever games, utilize it. You're gonna have to keep around your original controllers, but a lot of people aren't too worried about that. But that is something to note so you don't go into it disappointed. But there we go, 10-foot cable on all these. Really sweet Retrobit logo up top. The back has the Tribute 64 logo kind of molded in there. Really cool. And then just to compare real quick, my Nintendo 64 is the jungle green. So comparing that to the green, the forest green, I guess they called it. Very spot on. Looks very similar to me. You know, maybe a little bit darker, just slightly. Maybe it's the frosting on this one that makes it look a little lighter, but definitely pairs extremely well with the jungle green. So just wanted to point that out. I don't have any other Nintendo 64s, so that's the only comparison I can do. But there we go. And then let's go ahead and get the, like I said, the fire red, the volcano red controller out and take a quick look at this. So we will be doing some live streams and some gameplay tests coming up within a day or so. We'll be doing a few of them, testing this out on emulation, original hardware, all that kind of stuff, and kind of giving my thoughts and impressions. I have used these already. I have used the controllers already and played around with them, and I'm really loving it. But definitely want to get on there and let you guys kind of ask questions and say, hey, try this, show me this, and that's what we want to do. So there's the red, and the plug is red. Really nice. I like this. I'm always partial to these transparent colors though, but this red is really nice as well. So there you go. Really sick controllers. I'm super excited for these. I mean, for $25 for the original port, nobody's nasty booger fingers, nacho fingers have ever touched these. And they're pretty much a reimagining of the Hori mini pad, minus paying $100 for a used crusty controller. That's a huge plus in my eyes. So can't wait to see what else Retrobit's got in store for us. I know they have those wireless versions coming. A lot of people prefer wired over wireless, but in this day and age, there are a lot of people that want to sit a little further away from their TV while playing games, and they want to use those wireless controllers. And hey, there's going to be options for everybody out there. So can't wait to check those out as well. They'll be coming out in a few months, I guess. I'm not 100% on the exact release date, but definitely look forward to that. Look forward to more Sega stuff. Retrobit is on fire. There is no denying that. So I didn't really want this to be a review, even when I do the streams and impressions and whatnot. Not really a review. Retrobit sent these to me and said, hey, you're always out there, showcasing stuff and talking about our products, and boom, why don't you check these out, right? So they sent them to me a little early, and I am very appreciative of that, and to get to share my impressions of these with you guys. The one thing I did want to point out before we go is there is a groove back here, and it feels nice in the hand. Like you put your middle finger, even your index finger or your pinky finger if you're crazy and you want to hold it all weird, but it does have that groove. Putting your middle finger in there, kind of not squeezing it in there, but just kind of resting it in there. It does feel very nice. Hitting the L and R or the Z buttons. You can play Mario Kart and hit those corners and shoot your shells with ease. Nothing wobbly or crazy with this. Nothing hitting, the internals. Everything feels fine. We'll probably have to do a follow-up and open these up as well. So look forward to that, guys. Really do. Whoa, I almost lost him. Don't go nowhere, little fella. But really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Super excited for this. I love Nintendo. I love the Nintendo 64, and it is great to share these options with you guys. Hey, it's going to be for some people. It won't be for everybody. Style and, differences like that, it's all going to be subjective, but it's nice to have options. So, hey, thank you. I will catch you guys next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom. Bye. Love the blue. Love the green as well. And the volcano fire red. Bam! Peace out.